He asked her to hurry up, and at the same time they told me where the dog food was. They showed me the stuffed fridge and pointed to the TV in the video, and said I should just help myself to whatever I needed. She sprayed on a last sprinkle of perfume in the hall, a light floral and fresh scent. She was very pretty, perhaps too beautiful for him, I thought, and wondered for a fraction of a second about how they were together, how they made love to each other, how she looked naked, what she sounded like when she came. "Just think of it as an excursion," he said harshly and stared at me as if he'd guessed what I was thinking. "An indoor excursion since the weather is so nasty." "But perhaps you'd rather keep the dogs at your house?" she asked. "No, it's fun to be away from home," I replied, and noticed that I felt like a proper Boy Scout around them. "Good. We have films for all tastes," he added. "You should know that we really appreciate this," she said, nearly whispering. As they moved around, putting on their coats, looking for the car keys, shouting, "Got them!" and showing me the fridge and the video recorder again, I didn't even manage to think about why I was there, looking after their dog. A grown dog just needs to go out every once in a while. I could have done it without having to stay in their house all day. The dog would certainly have survived one day without them, but perhaps the dog was like a baby to them, their little child substitute. When they were gone, I played with the dogs for a while, then let them take care of themselves. Instead, I took a closer look around the apartment. The bedroom was all white, sparse. A simple bed, a built-in wardrobe, see-through white curtains on the window. Nothing else, clean and clinical, but somewhat impersonal and not particularly pleasant at any rate. A chest of drawers. I couldn't help but carefully open the top drawer. They wouldn't be able to tell. Her underwear. Soft, silky red panties with lace. White panties with lace. Black panties with lace. Alluring, yet naughty. Smooth and sensual between my fingers. In the drawer below, I found his underwear. Rougher fabrics, all white. I explored some more. My hand hit something. I grabbed a rubber dildo. A humongous one. Violet. Suddenly I felt ashamed. I was going through someone else's drawers. At the same time, it turned me on. I inspected the drawers with my hand, but there was nothing else of interest in there. I didn't find anything exciting in the other drawers either, except several pairs of extremely thin black nylon stockings that teased me and warmed up my blood, so much so that I was about to dive my face into them. I went back into the living room, my cheeks blushing. I sat down on the sofa. The dogs were running around, rolling on the floor, playing. I leafed through a few magazines that sat on the coffee table right next to the remote controls for the TV and video recorder. Interior design magazines. I turned on the TV. Now I could no longer hear the rain hit the roof. I surfed through the channels, but there was nothing interesting on, so early in the day. I switched to the other remote control and apparently I pressed the button that started up the video. There was a tape in the VCR, their own home video. It showed some kind of party here in the apartment. I thought about finding a good movie to watch instead, but something about that private video kept me from doing so. The people at the party were walking around aimlessly, drinking, dancing together. It seemed that the camera had been mounted on a tripod and was filming the people who happened to walk in front of it. I fast-forwarded the tape. There were fewer guests now. The room was darker. People were smoking, sitting down and getting up from the sofa. They looked strange as they moved at different speeds. Soon the room was empty. He picked up some empty glasses. She yawned. Now there were only two people sitting on the sofa, the hostess and the host, she and he. I switched back to the normal speed. They didn't speak. It just looked as if they were catching their breaths after a long party. Then she kicked off her shoes. She laughed. They embraced and began to caress each other, and then to kiss. It was getting too intimate. I looked away at first. My instinct told me to turn it off, but I couldn't. I saw his hands massage her naked shoulders, and then his lips found her throat. He leaned forward, and she moaned and stretched her neck. Their caresses became more and more intense, hotter. She pulled off his jacket.